Hello, I'm Ken Hayes, Mission Commander of the Expedition Center at the Houston Museum of Natural Science. Each day, I use a futuristic spaceship to take astronauts of all ages on simulated journeys to other worlds. In the future, technology could make such trips a reality. If we can someday explore the universe, could more advanced alien civilizations already be journeying among the stars? Let's explore all we know, and all we can imagine, to discover if we're really alone.
Science fiction stories about aliens abound in magazines, documentaries, movies, and social media. In our culture, aliens seem to be everywhere. We hear that they're already among us and have visited Earth throughout our history. In the 20th century, terrifying tales included abductions and alien visitations. Movies featured hostile aliens conquering Earth.
But in the 21st century, our attitude toward aliens has become more positive, even friendly. We ask children to draw aliens and their spaceships. Notice that most of these aliens are smiling. Friendly aliens have invaded our movies and even our toys. Over a third of Americans believe aliens are here now, and we eagerly await first contact with any life beyond Earth, especially if it is intelligent and eager to talk.
To answer the question, are we really alone? We might start by asking, is there any evidence that aliens visited Earth long ago? People have suggested that impressive structures like Stonehenge were actually built by ancient aliens. Yet we know that the builders of Stonehenge were perfectly capable of transporting, shaping, and raising the heavy stones themselves, using chisels, wooden stakes, and ropes. Similarly, with ramps, rollers, and ropes, Egyptians positioned each stone of the Great Pyramids on the Great Giza Plain. Egyptian astronomers knew the compass directions to align pyramids as well as the length of the year and how to predict the annual flooding of the Nile. 1,000 years ago, the Maya constructed the pyramids in Tikal around a core of rubble held in place by retaining walls. Their alignment allowed priests to predict the coming of the rainy season. The Maya Temple of Inscriptions in Palenque houses the tomb of King Pakal. It was discovered buried deep within the temple and undisturbed for a millennium. Pakal is portrayed on a sarcophagus lid, waiting to rise from the dead and conquer the darkness. These images and symbols are Mayan. This is not an ancient astronaut at the controls of his spaceship. The presence of aliens is not required to explain the accomplishments of our ancestors. Humans have always been builders. Our ancestors worked in coordinated groups, maximized resources, found new energy sources, and used patterns in the sky to predict future events on Earth. These achievements are not evidence of aliens on Earth, but of the very human traits that now compel us to build giant telescopes to look for companionship in the cosmos.
What evidence is there of more recent alien encounters? Decades ago, an observer in England reported a strange, dark, silent shape moving in front of the Milky Way. We now recognize the shape as the B-2 stealth bomber, which leads us to wonder what other strange objects the military is designing and testing now. Even trained observers see objects they can't explain, especially in unusual circumstances and unfamiliar locations such as Easter Island. Early in 1986, 2 astronomers saw a silver disk near one of the famous giant heads. The disk appeared in front of the star field, glowed in an unexplained way, and then mysteriously disappeared. Perhaps the most well-trained and alert observers are military pilots. As they fly in formation, it's crucial that they evaluate their surroundings accurately and quickly. Between the summer of 2014 and March 2015, Navy pilots in their cockpits saw strange objects on their radar screens almost daily in the sky over the eastern coast of the United States. These objects had no visible engine, power source, or infrared exhaust plumes. The Navy classifies them as UFOs, but not necessarily of extraterrestrial origin.
If extraterrestrial spaceships exist, where could they come from? Could any of the other planets in our solar system harbor intelligent life? The world with the best temperature range and resources is our close neighbor, Mars. The first true believer in intelligent Martians was Percival Lowell, an American businessman, author, mathematician, and astronomer. In 1894, he founded the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona. He popularized the belief that intelligent Martians had built canals to tap Mars' polar ice caps, the last source of water on a drying planet. This idea excited the public like UFO sightings do today. In 1971, Mariner 9 became the first spacecraft to orbit Mars. It sent back photographs of enormous volcanoes and deep canyons. Lowell's canals turned out to be chains of craters and dark sand, not structures created by intelligent Martians. But these new images did show us places where water once flooded the surface, carved deep valleys and eroded grooves into the bedrock. A watery Mars, even in the past, could have fostered the development of primitive life. On February 18, 2021, the Perseverance rover landed in Jezero Crater, an ancient impact crater and lakebed on Mars. Its purpose is to look for signs of past and present Martian life, especially water-based life like we have on Earth. A dried-up riverbed that once flowed into Jezero Crater might still contain fossil remains of tiny Martian organisms buried in the silt. At present, our only example of life is Earth life, billions of organisms with the same basic DNA sequencing, adapted to survive in different Earth environments. Our rovers search for a sample of Mars life because it would not be native to Earth. This discovery is crucial as we predict the existence and function of life on alien worlds. But as exciting as Mars is, it will not provide intelligent companionship. In that regard, we really are alone in our solar system and must look to other stars for planets that might harbor intelligent life.
We have recently observed, photographed, and analyzed 2 objects that came from beyond our solar system. Oumuamua, named for the Hawaiian term for scout, zipped through our neighborhood in 2017. Based on its orbit, we know that this object came from another star system. It's hundreds of meters long with a very unusual cigar shape. We have not identified its home world, but we think it's a young object, only 2 billion years old, less than half the age of our solar system. Comet 21 Borisov appeared in mid-2019. Its extremely elongated orbit indicates that it also came from elsewhere in our galaxy. Nevertheless, observations by numerous astronomers show that the comet's chemical composition is similar to the comets in our solar system, indicating that comets also form around other stars. From these strange interlopers, we have evidence that the elements found on Earth are universal, and Earth chemistry is common in the cosmos. Earth biology, with its dependence on liquid water, should be possible elsewhere in the galaxy. And Earth physics seems to be the law of the universe. The chemistry for life exists beyond our solar system, so we can expect to find Earth-like planets that could harbor alien life.
Through sensitive telescopes and satellites like Kepler, we have found thousands of planets of all sizes and compositions orbiting other suns. We catch them passing in front of their stars or causing their stars to wobble a tiny bit. In 2015, we discovered Kepler 452b, an Earth-like planet where life might thrive. Kepler 452b orbits a Sun-like star in its habitable zone, where liquid water can exist. Imagine we could visit this older cousin of Earth, which has spent 6 billion years in the habitable zone of its star, over 1 billion years longer than the Earth has had to develop intelligent life. Advanced aliens could definitely exist on Kepler 452b, but this world is 1,400 light years away. Consider HD 189 733b, which is less than 65 light years away. We have detected the bow shock of a magnetic field surrounding and protecting this world from dangerous radiation. Unfortunately, this is a blue gas giant where winds blow at 7 times the speed of sound and it rains glass shards. This particular world is not a good candidate for alien life. Closer to Earth, we have found 7 rocky planets orbiting the red dwarf star TRAPPIST-1. 6 of these worlds could have liquid water on their surfaces. Planet E is probably an Earth-like ocean world. This interesting solar system is only 40 light years away. We are finding likely planets around stars closer and closer to Earth. In this century, we might launch a Starshot mission with tiny space probes called Starships. Their destination is Proxima Centauri b, the closest exoplanet. This world is in the habitable zone of Proxima Centauri, just over 4 light years away.
If we are looking for alien life, perhaps there are civilizations elsewhere that are on the same quest. From Earth, Venus occasionally moves in front of the Sun. Then we see the planet's dark silhouette transiting the Sun's disk. We can even measure a small dip in the Sun's brightness caused by Venus. These planet paths form a line around the sky called the ecliptic. The famous zodiac constellations define its boundaries. Any advanced alien living on a world along this line could measure the same percentage drop in the Sun's brightness when Venus or Earth passes in front. They would know that our Sun has orbiting planets. We have detected many worlds by watching their star's brightness drop during transits. Likewise, this solar system, in the constellation Aquarius, has 4 planets from which advanced aliens could actually detect Earth as we pass in front of our Sun. Imagine watching the transits of these distant worlds, knowing that any intelligent life living on these planets might be looking right back at us.
Earth also produces radio noise that could be detected far beyond our planet. These spheres, each with a radius of a light year, show how far our radio waves have traveled since the early 20th century. If there are alien civilizations nearby, they might have detected us from our radio noise. SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, listens for a strong radio beacon that a distant alien civilization might have designed to announce its presence as clearly and loudly as possible. In 2019, a group of 8 radio telescopes detected repeating fast radio bursts coming from a massive spiral galaxy a 500 million light years away. The origin of these bursts could be from a neutron star or even an extraterrestrial civilization attempting to make contact with other intelligent beings.
Maybe aliens face the same challenges we face in leaving their home world. At present, our most distant habitat is the International Space Station, just 250 miles above Earth's surface. Astronauts spending months here discover that living in space is difficult for humans. Our bodies have evolved to survive and thrive in the atmosphere and gravitational field of Earth. Earth life requires Earth-like conditions for long-duration spaceflight, including a simulated gravity field. It would also require enormous energy to accelerate such a large and complex spacecraft to a reasonable speed. At present, we don't have the energy resources to travel to distant worlds. Many star systems have been in existence for 1 billion years longer than our solar system. With this much time for life to evolve, the universe should be a busy and noisy place filled with futuristic alien cities. So why is the universe so strangely silent? Perhaps the silence is not due to the absence of advanced aliens, but because of their decision to expand close to home. Intelligent civilizations may have chosen to build outposts, forming a mesh or sphere surrounding their star and collecting its energy. This would make their star and civilization invisible to us. Perhaps these advanced aliens chose to forego interstellar spaceflight because of the fuel requirements and long travel times.
In the 21st century, however, scientists have begun to question these travel times. We have observed that the gravity of massive objects like our sun or even the planets will bend space-time. What if we could also bend space-time? This ship of the future is designed to bend or warp space. It has 2 thick outer rings that generate the warp fields in front of us and behind us. Let's use a 2-dimensional representation of space-time to visualize how the ship's warp drive works. When we turn the drive on, the changing grid will show how space contracts ahead of the ship and expands behind it. Let's add some real space to our model, like the Galaxy M101. We will place our spaceship between the galaxy's spiral arms, and we'll move through an arm during this animation. We'll make our ship much larger than it would really be, just so we can see how we are warping the flat space grid drawn below the ship. As we turn the warp drive on, a bubble forms around us. The changing grid shows how space will be warped in front of and behind our ship. Watch as the fabric of space-time follows this grid curvature. By warping space, we disappear from one place in the galaxy and reappear on the other side of the galaxy's spiral arm. Actually, our spacecraft has remained stationary, while the surrounding bubble moved from there to here across the galaxy. If we learn to create warp drive bubbles such as these, the physics will work, and we'll be on our way, except for one remaining problem: fuel. Our warp generator would require the entire annual energy consumption of the United States just to fuel a ship that at present we do not know how to invent or construct.
Just over 1,000 years ago, a Maya astronomer priest predicted the return of the annual rains by watching the location of sunrise. Imagine what he would think if he could see 1,000 years into the future and look over the modern city of Shanghai with over 30 million people. The lights, the moving images, the cars, even the boats would be beyond his comprehension. especially the magical energy source called electricity. This is a mind-blowing change in urban living in just 1,000 years.
Maybe today's science fiction will become tomorrow's reality. After all, humans have always done well harnessing new energy sources and solving engineering challenges. Perhaps this is how we visit the stars in the future and how intelligent aliens could visit us. It's not the vastness of space or physics that limits us, but the technology and time we need to design and build our spaceships. We may be trapped in our solar system today, but tomorrow we might connect to the cosmos. Are we really alone? Perhaps we are for now, but now is not forever.